Good morning, class. Now let's look at question number 9. Before we start working on question number 9, let's do a quick review about some inequality sign and phrase. When we say at most or no more than, what about the sign do we use in order to set up a linear inequality? Remember in class, we said focus on those two m's. We can write let it lean down in this way in order to help us remember. For those two phrases, we need use less than or equal to. And what about the other? If you remember those two, which you have to use the less than or equal to, then the other part is just opposite way. Might be easier for you. The other one is at least and no less than. Of course, they're opposite way. Okay, so keep this in mind. And if anyone needs, take a note, write this on your notebook, take a few minutes to review and try to memorize it, okay? Now let's go back to read our question number 9. Leah would like to earn at least. Okay, pay attention to the first phrase, at least. $120 per month. So when we see at least, I know the first inequality I need to use is this sign. Okay, let me write that down. At least $120. Okay, per month. Now let's see. She babysits for $5 per hour and works at an ice cream shop for $8 per hour. Okay, now Leah cannot work more than, look at it here, you have another phrase, no more than. Okay, for 20 hours per month. Let's go back, see the sign. No more than, I need to use this sign. Okay, no more than 20 hours. So, when we set up the inequality, focus on the unit. Top one is money in dollar. Second one is hours. Okay, now let's see the question asked. Let X represent the number of hours Leah babysit. X, write it down. X is the number of hours she worked as a babysitter. Okay, now keep reading the question. Let Y represents the number of hours she works at the ice cream shop. Okay, Y is the number of hours she works as ice cream shop. So Y is the number of hours she works as ice cream shop. Now the total hours cannot be more than 20. Totally. When we say total, what do? Of course, we add it together. And totally working hours, no more than 20 hours. See, this is the hours of babysitting, hours of ice cream shop. So hours plus hours and match the hours to the right. Now let's look at the money. And she works $5 for babysitting. $5 for babysitting. Now if she works 1 hour, she's going to get $5. If she works 2 hours, she's going to get 5 times 2, which is $10. And totally, she's going to work X hours for babysitting. Therefore, we're going to use 5 times X, represent the total money she earned for babysitting. Now, she make $8 per hour for ice cream shop. And then totally hours, which is Y. Totally Y hours, which is 8 times Y. For money, totally money she's going to make for the ice cream shop. Then, and add those two jobs together, she needs at least $120 per month to make a living. And then we set up that inequality system. So money plus money match money on the right. Hours plus hours match the hours on the right. So the next part is they give you 4 choices for the graphing linear inequality. Okay, now let's see. In order to graph linear inequality, and we all know there are 3 steps. First one, we will pretend their equation. Graph as equation. Okay, and usually remember we're going to use the xy intercept, which is much easier. And the second one, fix the line. You need to pick up what kind of a line do we need to use. Remember, there are 2 different lines. First one is a solid line, or you call real line. Second one you can use is dotted line. Okay, the last part we need to shade it. Pick up which side, either above the line or below the line, we need to shade it. And when you have 2 inequalities, which means you need to find out the overshaded or the double shaded area. Now let's see how can we graph it. Where you can see let's start with the easiest one. Okay, pretend they're equal. Okay, I'm going to start the first one, x plus y equal 20. And look at the first parentheses, the first point. When x is 0, if I substitute here, my x is 0, x is gone, which means y, if x is 0, which means x is gone, then y equal 20. I'm going to put a 20 right here. For the second parentheses, remember, for the coordinate, it is always x comma y. 0 behind the comma, which means your y is 0. If my y is 0, x plus 0 equal 20, your x equal 20. Now I am able to find out 2 points where 20 and 20. Now let's see. Fix the line. Do I use a solid line or dotted line? So you do have the equal sign here. Therefore, we need to use the real line. Okay, now connect those 2 points by a solid line. The last step, shade it above this line or below this line. We need to shade it. Now let's see. Remember, the 0, 0 point is always our best friend trying to test. If I substitute x equals 0, y is 0 here, 0 plus 0 is 0 less than 20. Yes, therefore, I need to shade my graphing 0, 0 side, which means below this line, I am going to shade it. Okay, now we're done for the easiest one. Now let's see this one. It seems like a little bit complicated, but it's not that bad. So when we have 5x plus 8y equal 120, remember, pretend it's equal. Now I need to find out the xy intercept. When x is 0, when we have 8y equal 120, you divide by 8 from both sides, in order to find out your y, where you have 1 and 15, right? Now, if your y is 0, 8 times 0, which is 0, then this part is gone. You have 5x plus 0. You can omit it. 5x equal 120. And you divide by 5 from both sides, where you can have 24. Okay, now let's see how can we graph it back to our graphing part. Now, where we have 0, 15, which is right here. 24, 0, which is, this is 25, which is slightly less than 25. Okay, now connect those 2 points. Because I have equal sign here, therefore I need to use the real line. If you do not have the equal sign here, you need to use the dotted line. Okay, now let's see which side. For the blue line, do I shade above or below? Pick up a point. Let's still use 0, 0, substitute back to here. So 5 times 0 is 0, plus 8 times 0, which is 0. Now, is 0 greater than 120? That's not true. Therefore, you cannot shade below it. You must shade the opposite side, which is above the blue line. In order to make it a little clear for you, I will only shade the overshaded part, okay? Actually, you should know all of them above the blue line, all those areas should apply for the shaded part, okay? Now, go back to your choice, A, B, C, D, okay? Now, let's see which one could be, because the printing part, the shaded area, which is not very clear, so we have to figure it out. And we can see the first one is not right, because the first one substitute the xy intercept for this one is substitute the opposite way, okay? Because look, this one is not 24, 0, this is 0, 24, so this one is out. Same thing for this one. Now C and D, which one could be the choice? As you can see, C is all overshaded for this part, therefore C cannot be your choice, because the correct one is only with this tiny triangle. However, if your printing part, which is not clear, okay, for example, the shaded area is not clear, if you pick up this one, you have to show me your overshaded area. Okay, for this one, you can make this part, the little tiny triangle part shaded. It will be perfect, okay? And now we're done for part A.